Chris.
And we are Rocky Soil Family Farm located in Monticello, Florida.
I think our ultimate mistake was trying to get too big too fast. And now we're back scaling a lot more in maintaining 4 beds or 4 fields instead of 15. We have 15 plots out there, and we decided to some of the plots that we just could absolutely not manage. We're gonna grow stuff like watermelon in the spring because watermelon doesn't need much attention.
Right.
We did it once a week, but let it go. The other thing was that we never caught up with weeding. So this were the 2 major lessons I think that we learned.
Yeah.
And they cost us money too, obviously, because we didn't have anything to sell.
I would think also, in addition to that, that's a really big one. But because it's just the 2 of us, in the beginning, we would split projects. And I would do a project and then he would do a project, and you think that you get more accomplished, but really, you're really doing 50% of the work, each time, because if we work together on things, you get 100% of that 100%. Project done, so it's if we wake up in the morning, we come out, we walk the fields, we have coffee, we plan out our day, and so we had to learn. It took a while, and we still haven't mastered it yet because we both have things that we think are priority, but we have learned over time that it's much better when we're doing stuff together. So,
start a project and finish
the project.
If you don't finish the project and you go on to the next one, you have one limping behind. We have 1 limping behind now, so
I like that.
Yeah, and then later on down the line, you have to play catch up, and then more time, more money. So we like to learn things the hard way.
Hey, that's the best way because you never forget it, and you have evidence as to why. Because you can read things in the book, but sometimes you want to try, or you have to try and see for yourself what's going on.
And sometimes we have to change our plan around because food that's not in the ground cannot grow. So then we make planting a priority or seeding and wait a day or 2 to, let's say, mulch another bed.
Yeah. And in this climate, to kind of finish that up, the thought of doing things together and completing a project from A to Z, we've learned that in this climate, so you'll see, we'll show you plot 2 where we're pretty much doing no-till. And the process for that, so laying hay, mulching, transplanting, covering it up with row covers right away because the butterflies and the caterpillars are ruthless here, and we've seen nice, beautiful transplants go into the ground, and then a couple of days later, you'll start seeing little holes in them, and then the next day after that, they're gone, or half your crop is gone, and then all that sweat equity you just put into it is gone. So completing it A to Z, and we may think we have time to transplant something, but if we don't have time to get the row cover on top of it, then we don't do it at all. So that's something, even now, we have all this stuff that's ready to go in.
Well, you see the butterflies now, though. So it has to go in and get covered.
Right away.
Sprayed before, otherwise we spray with BT. Especially for the caterpillars because they ruined our almost 80% of our crop.
So having new soil and compost is extremely important, and we try to go by as long as we could without getting new soil, just because it's so expensive right now. We pay for 30 tons of soil, I think $330. That's with delivery in the spring, and then now that same truckload with delivery was almost $700.
Wow.
So that's $700 that could go towards something else, but you need it. It's a critical essential.
Right, 100%.
We had radishes growing over here, and they're still in the ground. And they're not growing without this. In these fields, we already, we sold for weeks already. And we're now turning the beds over because it's the next generation.
You got to go start the next thing.
The radishes that were in the ground that didn't have the new
soil. So this is worth the money. But I wish it would be a little bit cheaper. Because we have a lot to cover.
And pretty much that's one of the pressures of this year, of the COVID and stuff.
Yes. One thing we also learned is we're not looking at a at a bed now and say, oh man, it's so pretty and beautiful, we love it.
Mm-hmm.
Now every lettuce head has a number on it.
Wow, nice.
You know, so now I know this field needs to bring $600.
Right.
This needs to bring $1,000.
Right.
And this way we can budget in our heads even, you know,
right.
because we want now for a couple of weeks we started to project out our sales for the month. So, and we met our goal every week so far, and then once we meet a goal, we raise the goal. So now we're trying to push ourselves to sell more and more and more.
Nice.
Until we come to that amount
threshold
that we set for the month.
Right.
And once we reach that goal, then it needs to go to the next part.
Nice.
So we want to climb up.
Nice.
So we are holding ourselves accountable to not just plant stuff in the ground, but to also monetize it.
100%.
You know, so this, I don't know, a head is $6, so I know I have 500 heads in there, and this is what I need to get out of it.
100%.
You know, you lose a couple, of course. A couple go bad in storage.
Right.
But most of it, 95%, needs to go into the bank.
Right, 100%. Has it been hard to find that balance between the love for gardening and the necessity for the Benjamins? Like,
it just came.
Okay.
Like a month ago, where we said, you know, we need to look at these things differently because we love what we do, and everybody is proud of what we have our babies.
Right.
You know, she plants this and I plant that, and we're proud of it.
Yeah.
And we brag about it. But then we figured out, you know, it's beautiful, but we need to sell the beauty.
100%.
You know, we're not planting this to admire it.
Right.
We're planting this to supply great organic food to our community.
Right.
You know, but there needs to be a price tag behind this because we realize that this is a business.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
everything we put in the business needs to come from somewhere.
100%.
You know, it came out of our savings so far, but it needs to carry the farm.
100%.
And it needs to make profits because we want to get bigger, not smaller.
Right.
You know, we need more machines. We need a lettuce harvester now.
Okay, right.
Yeah, because we're selling more lettuce than we ever thought, but now we're cutting for 2 hours, washing
Right.
for an hour, packing
Yeah.
for an hour, you know, but I can harvest it in 20 minutes.
Right.
We're also seeing what sells and what doesn't sell, and plant a lot more of the items that sold very well.
Right.
Because they are staple products. Like in a
Right.
restaurant, you have items that will sell all the time, and you have things you try but they don't work. But those staple items we need to have there all the time, and we're figuring out what they are.
What would you all tell to new farmers of interest, new people that want to get into growing? What would you tell them getting started?
Unfortunately, everything you start costs money. And for a lot of people, it's a holdup. However, don't let money hold you up. You know, be disciplined. You have to be disciplined. And we're learning this every day because we're not the best at it yet.
Yeah.
You know, and then don't overdo it.
Right.
Don't oversize the farm. Start with 2 beds and then grow.
Yeah.
We started with 15, got our butt handed to us, and now we're reducing. But we also see a better quality product coming out.
Nice.
Yeah. So start smaller.
Yeah.
Really like narrow down your practice, and you know, find mentors. We don't have like physical mentors just yet. We're still new, but there are a lot of people that we admire,
Right.
you know, on social media,
Right,
and they're
right.
all across the country.
Right.
And there's one farmer that we really we love his work. And something he said really resonated with me, and I think Chris also adopted it as well, is he said once upon a time he was searching for food amongst the weeds, and now he's searching for weeds amongst the food. But I would also have to say, like, finding someone that's in your specific climate, because
Right.
they can do incredible
Right.
things in Oregon and New York. Their climate is so different, and they don't deal with the things that we deal with here.
Right.
And I think it makes a difference, you
Right,
know? So
100%.
communicating with farmers like
Right.
each other,
Right.
that we share the same zone.
Yeah.
Find out what works for you on your farm, and then what works for us here, you know?
Wow.
Like, we all have challenges with caterpillars that other farmers in other regions
Right,
don't.
right.
So they don't feel our struggle,
Right.
but y'all do.
Right.
So, right?
And we came from a subtropical climate, and now we have to deal with 8A and B.
Right.
It's a struggle.